Welcome to Scary True Stories. Here we dive into the world of scariest and truest stories of them all. Today we will unpack two scary stories that happened in Florida and the questions surrounding them. The first scary true story is the killer clown case involving the 1990 murder of Marlene Warren in Wellington, Florida, is one of the most chilling and perplexing criminal cases in American history. On May 26, 1990, Marlene, a 40-year-old mother, was at home with her son, Joe Aarons, and several of his friends. Around 10:45 a.m., a white Chrysler LeBaron pulled into their driveway. A person dressed as a clown, complete with an orange wig, red nose and white face paint, emerged from the vehicle, carrying a bouquet of red and white carnations and two balloons, one emblazoned with "You're the Greatest" and the other depicting Snow White. Marlene answered the door, and after a brief exchange, the clown handed her the gifts before producing a firearm and shooting her in the face. The assailant then calmly walked back to the car and drove away. Joe and his friends witnessed the horrifying event and rushed Marlene to the hospital, where she succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. The initial investigation faced numerous challenges. Detectives traced the flower arrangement and balloons to a local public supermarket, where employees recalled selling these items to a woman matching the description of Sheila Keene, a slender, tall woman with long brown hair, just hours before the murder. Additionally, a nearby costume shop reported selling a clown costume, including an orange wig and makeup, to a woman resembling Keene 2 days prior. At the time, Sheila Keene worked for Michael Warren, Marlene's husband, repossessing cars for his used car business. Rumors suggested that Michael and Sheila were having an affair, providing a potential motive related to marital discord and financial gain. Despite these leads, the evidence was largely circumstantial, and the case went cold. In 2014, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office revisited the case, leveraging advancements in DNA technology. Re-examination of the evidence, including hair fibers found in the suspected getaway car, a white Chrysler LeBaron matching witness descriptions, provided new insights. In 2017, authorities arrested Sheila Keene Warren in Virginia, where she had been living with Michael Warren. The two had married in 2002. Facing first-degree murder charges, Sheila pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of second-degree murder in April 2023, receiving a 12-year sentence. With credit for time served and good behavior, she was released in November 2024. Throughout the proceedings, Sheila maintained her innocence despite the guilty plea. The case, often referred to as the killer clown murder, remains one of Florida's most infamous criminal cases, highlighting the complexities of circumstantial evidence and the advancements in forensic science that can breathe new life into cold cases. The second scary true story that comes out of the swamps of Florida is one that will leave you shivering under your covers. Its name, the Lutz family haunting. This story began in 2000. It's one of the most chilling and perplexing paranormal cases in Florida's modern history. The story starts when Eric and Lyle Lutz purchased a large old home in Miami-Dade County, located in a quiet neighborhood. What seemed like the perfect home for their family quickly turned into a nightmare. This house had a dark and terrifying history. It was the site of a brutal mass murder carried out by Ronald DeFeo Jr. in 1974. DeFeo killed his entire family in cold blood, and the gruesome crime left an indelible mark on the property, which had remained unoccupied for years after the murders. After settling into the house, the Lutz family began to experience a series of strange occurrences that escalated quickly. At first they dismissed the unusual sounds and events as mere coincidences, footsteps in empty rooms, faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, and doors that would inexplicably slam shut. But the situation grew more disturbing as time went on. They reported hearing loud, unexplained banging noises, like something heavy being dropped, followed by the sounds of dragging chains. The children would awake in the middle of the night, screaming and terrified by what they described as shadowy figures lurking in the house. Over time, the Lutz family became increasingly unnerved as the paranormal activity intensified. They experienced unsettling cold spots in various rooms, especially in the area where the DeFeo family had been murdered. The family also claimed to have seen strange glowing eyes in the house, which seemed to follow them as they moved from room to room. Eric, the father, began to feel an oppressive sense of dread, even though there was no logical explanation for it. Meanwhile, Lyle, the mother, started experiencing vivid and terrifying hallucinations, seeing visions of grotesque figures and feeling a strange compulsion to act violently. Their children, too, reported disturbing sightings. One child claimed to have seen a shadowy figure standing in the doorway at night, while another child swore they saw a red, glowing presence moving through the house. Things grew even more alarming when the family's pets began acting strangely. The Lutz's dog, which had always been friendly and calm, began to act aggressively and would bark incessantly at certain spots in the house. One night, the dog allegedly went missing, and no one could explain where it had gone, further deepening the family's sense of unease. The overwhelming sense of fear was so strong that Eric began experiencing physical symptoms, including extreme fatigue and a sudden onset of illness that seemed to worsen the longer they stayed. By this point, the Lutz family was desperate, and they sought help from paranormal investigators. They reached out to the famous Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned for their work in paranormal investigations and demonic cases. The Warrens arrived to conduct a full investigation into the strange events occurring in the house. They conducted various tests and experiments, and during their investigation, they witnessed many of the same terrifying phenomena that the Lutz family had described. Lorraine Warren, in particular, claimed to have felt a powerful negative energy in the house, and she reported seeing the image of a demonic figure during her time there. Despite their best efforts, the Warrens were unable to explain the occurrences or find a rational explanation for the supernatural activity. The family was left with no choice but to flee the house. They moved out abruptly in the middle of the night, leaving behind many of their possessions, unable to bear the fear any longer. Afterward, the Lutz family refused to return to the home, and the house was eventually sold to new owners who reported no significant paranormal activity. However, the Lutz family's story didn't end there. Their terrifying experiences were so compelling that they captured the public's imagination. The haunting was soon the subject of numerous media reports, books, and documentaries. The most famous of these was the 1977 book, The Amityville Horror, written by Jay Anson, which was later adapted into a movie series. Although some skeptics have suggested that the Lutzes fabricated or exaggerated the events for publicity or financial gain, others firmly believe that the family's experiences were genuine and that the house was cursed by the tragic events of the DeFeo murders. The Lutz family's haunting, with its eerie paranormal activity and terrifying visions, continues to be a source of fascination for those interested in the supernatural. Whether one believes in the Lutz family's story or not, the case has had a lasting impact on popular culture, cementing its place in the annals of Florida's most infamous and disturbing true stories. To this day, the story remains one of the most talked about and debated paranormal incidents in the state, adding another layer of mystery to Florida's dark history of terrifying events. That concludes True Scary Stories Florida Part 1. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.